All right, how you guys doing tonight? I feel like a stand-up comedian, man. You guys are looking great tonight. Learning how to work this thing. So, who out here has a blog? Anybody have a blog out there? Anybody have a website? Anybody has a digital magazine? Digital magazine. Anybody wants to have any of those things? All right. So there's a lot of websites, there's a lot of blogs, there's a lot of publications out there. I like to call it publication saturation, right? Everybody has something out there. The internet has blown up. The digital age has just blown up. But how can you truly differentiate yourself from the competition? What's going to make you stand out? You know, I like to say you have to think outside the box. And I'm sure you've heard this term before. If you're in corporate America, you've heard it, think outside the box. If you've been your own business or you've worked with anyone, people say, think outside the box. Well, what does that really mean? So what I like to do, whenever I've started something, whether it's my first company I started, whether it's what I'm doing right now, I try to think about being in a space that no one else is. Think about where you want to be, what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, and think about how you can do it differently. How can you be unique? So for example, I started FET. The very first time I moved to Chicago, I started FET, which was been my company for the last 17 years. And FET started out as a dining club. It started out as a members-only dining club, but the whole concept was to introduce people to the newest and best restaurants in the city. And this is before the whole food movement, the whole foodie and the whole Food Network, the type of movement. I had a passion and desire to find the newest and best restaurants to dine at, just simply from hanging out with friends and being in the pharmaceutical medical device industry, which I was in for about 14 years. When I moved to Chicago, there were so many new restaurants, or so many restaurants, period. And at that time, you know, you didn't have the Yelps and you didn't have all these other things that you can look up on the internet to find out what was opening and what was new. And so I said, you know what? I bet other people out there have the same desire, the same passion I have as finding new restaurants. So the whole goal was to introduce people to new restaurants and restaurants to the people. And it turned out to be something that hadn't been done before. Yeah, there were people that were doing events and things like that, but I focused on a food-centric type of movement, a food-centric events, and it worked out. Talking about FLM, Fat Lifestyle Magazine, is something that I started a year ago, and I'll talk more about that. But Fat Lifestyle Magazine, I wanted to do something different. I had a newsletter that I sent out for a number of years, and it just wasn't giving me any satisfaction. It wasn't what it had been before. There were a lot of other newsletters out there. I'm sure you guys get newsletters every day in your email. And so I said, you know, I got to stop this. I got to do something that is better, that gives me some type of self-assurance that's different. And I thought about it for about a year, and I came up with the idea of starting my own digital publication. But I just didn't want to start a digital publication, digital magazine. There's tons of them out there. So I said, how can I be different? So I thought about it, and I said, well, I just don't want to reach Chicago. I just don't want to reach the Midwest. I just don't want to reach the United States. I want to be global. I want to impact the world. I want to reach out and have everybody read whatever I'm putting out there. And so I decided I want to make it a global publication. But then I said, you know, I'm sure there's some global publications out there, but how else can I be different? It's going to be a lifestyle type of magazine, but I'm just going to have all female contributors from around the world. And so I sought out to find a lot of contributors that I knew that would be interested, and eventually end up getting contributors from all around the world. And people would say, well, why are you the only male contributor, and why is this only female driven? And first of all, I want it to be different. I want it to be unique. And when I say that it's an all-female contributor type of magazine, it raises eyebrows. It catches people's interest, and they want to know more about it. And women just have a lot more to say than guys do anyway. Women are a lot more interesting than guys. Guys just like to talk about sports and food and cars and things like that, but women actually are interested in a lot more things as far as fitness, relationships, and things like that. So it turned out to be a good decision. And over the year, we've celebrated our 1 year anniversary back in January. We has had some success. So what does the success look like for us? We started out with 0 subscribers, 0 contributors, 0 advertisers, and as of the year to date, we reached over 150,000, 200,000 subscribers and readers per month. We have over 40 different contributors from around the world, and we have had about 4 different advertisers that have advertised with us. Our first one being Emirates Airlines. So we've experienced a little success, but your success depends on what you define it as, okay? Once you have formulated your ideal, your concept, and you want to make it happen, think about who you can strategically partner with in order to help you be successful. So, one of the things that I've done, and one of the things that if you're looking to help someone get you to that point, I try to find out who's hungry. And what I mean by who's hungry, who is out there that wants to be a part of your vision and share your vision and has a passion to get to a point that will not only help you be successful, but help them be successful. And so I went out and found some dynamic people that are my contributors, Debbie Lilly being one of them, Shelly Rosen being one of them. And I mean, I have some dynamic contributors from all around the world. Shelly, who's sitting right here, is a CEO, started her own company. Debbie, obviously, is one of the top event planners in America. We have a Broadway dancer in New York. We have a sommelier over in Europe. But all these fabulous women shared my vision. They had their own successful things that were going on, and we're kind of helping each other out. But I started with the people that I knew. I started with some folks that I talked to, that I had good relationships with, and I told them and sold them on my vision, and they were in. And they, in turn, reached out to some people, and they referred people as far as people that wanted to contribute and had something to say and was passionate about of what they wanted to do. But one of the caveats there is, a main point is that whatever you do, make sure that it's quality. If you put out quality work, people are going to recognize, and people want to be a part of what you're trying to accomplish. So that's key. Whatever you're doing, make sure that it's quality and people will hop on board. A huge thing is a lot of times we start something and we have an idea of who we want to send our publication or blog or our website, who we want to attract to whatever we're doing. And so how do you define your target audience? Sometimes, you think your target audience is one group of people. Maybe it's the millennials. Maybe it's the age group between 25 and 35. But do you really know? Who really cares about what you're putting out there? You have to figure that out. So one of the things that is really imperative is to collect analytics. Find out, or use Facebook, LinkedIn, Google. There's a lot of things out there that will help you determine who your true target audience is. You may think that your target audience is one group of folks, but in actuality, it could be someone else. And if it is a certain group of people. You may have to adjust your content, your blog, your message in order to fit that demographic, or vice versa. If you want to reach another type of demographic, you may have to adjust that. But the key thing is to collect analytics to make that happen. You can do that via trial and error. So through trial and error, you'll be able to look and see exactly who is reading your things, who is reading your content, and then adjust from there. The bottom line is that we all want to try to make a living off what our passions are. So how do you make money? How do you track advertisers? How do you track clients to your business? I like to say start with a low-hanging fruit. So that basically means start with people that you know, relationships that you've already established, people that you know that will probably give you an opportunity, that will support you, and then prove yourself and attract those advertisers or those people and bring them on as clients. And obviously you have to deliver whatever you say you're going to do. Do your research, avoid certain advertisers. What I mean by that is you may have a certain advertiser that you may think would be a good fit. So for example, I reached out to Miller Coors because I was like, oh, I have a lifestyle magazine. This is something they would be interested in. But then in reality, they were not a good fit because they were looking to reach a different target demographic. And I should have did my research a little bit more before I reached out to them, because I clearly was not ready for what they were looking for. So you have to make sure that the people that you want to target for advertising or the clients that you want to attract, you got to make sure they're a good fit for your publication. You do that through research. Alrighty. Credibility is everything. I always use a phrase, under promise and over deliver. Okay? Under promise, over deliver. That just means that make sure that if you promise something, that you deliver above and beyond what you're going to do. Because if you don't deliver, I promise you won't get a second chance. And this is key. But making money is not easy, as you guys know, but you have to make sure that whatever you do, you can leverage your clients that you already attracted to attract other clients. So for example, we have Emirates Airlines as a client. I was able to say, hey, we got Emirates on board. And that was like, oh, okay, you guys got Emirates. Well, you guys must be doing something right. So make sure that you can do that. At the end, make sure you try to stay ahead of the competition, get busy, and always try to think outside the box and be in a space where no one else is. And if you do that, you'll be successful. And always make sure that you're trying to change and set the trend instead of following the trend. All righty, go ahead and get busy.
Thanks, Stacy. So, as you're going through your presentation, the first thing that I heard when you're talking about you're going after not regional, not local, not national, but a global market, right? So we have a publication, and we try to target Chicagoans, and that's pretty easy because we know who Chicago is. They're right here. We touch them, we see them, we feel them, right? When you're going after a market that's a global market, how do you find out what they want to hear? So when you're crafting content, right, or when you're trying to decide how to reach them, how do I know what someone in Dubai wants to hear, or in Paris wants to hear, or in Brazil wants to hear, and how do you resonate with that?
Well, you don't. So when I started out, I didn't know what people wanted. I just knew what I wanted to deliver. And so based on that trial and error, putting out content, I was able to review the analytics as far as who was reading our content and what articles and what submissions that people were mostly engaged with. And some publications or some articles and some issues that we release, people in Dubai are more attracted to those articles or that content. People in India may be attracted. People in Jamaica. It just really depends on the content that you're putting out there. But our whole focus was to develop content that would reach everyone, and people just like now, if you pick up a magazine, there may be certain articles that resonate with you or not, or may not resonate with you. It just, everyone's different.
So, and then in terms of your funding, when you're starting a publication like yours, you're just in the beginning phases, It's not like you can say, here's our demographic, we're just starting out, right? This is what I'm hoping to reach. And you engage those potential advertisers. How do you craft that story, and how successful have you been, and what have you found to be successful in the earlier stages to get that funding and advertising without so much proof in the pudding, right?
Well, I knew for 6 months I couldn't go out and solicit advertising because we had no data. You know, we had no subscribers. We had no real data to say, hey, this is who we attract. But after 6 months, I was able to get data and really see exactly who our target audience was and be able to fine-tune that data and really extrapolate that data that I can present to advertisers. So, you know, the demographics, age demographics, the gender geographics, the spending habits and things like that. So after 6 months and collecting valuable data, that's when I was able to go out and do that.
DC, thanks very much. What's the website?
ThatLifestyleMag.com.
Great, thank you.